4 things avoidants never tell the people they love. Avoidant people often look emotionally calm and independent on the outside. They appear controlled, distant, and sometimes even unaffected by emotional situations. But beneath that calm surface, there is usually a much deeper emotional struggle happening internally. The problem is that avoidants rarely explain what they are actually feeling to the people they love. Instead of expressing fear, confusion, or emotional overwhelm openly, they hide behind silence and distance. And because of that silence, the people who love them are often left confused, hurt, and emotionally exhausted. The first thing avoidants never tell the people they love is this: closeness scares me more than losing you sometimes. This is one of the most painful truths hidden inside avoidant attachment. They may deeply care about someone and still feel an intense urge to pull away emotionally. Not because love is absent, but because intimacy activates fear inside them. The closer someone gets, the more emotionally exposed they begin to feel. Real intimacy requires vulnerability, emotional dependence, and openness. And for avoidants, those things can feel overwhelming instead of comforting. So while their partner is trying to build deeper connection, the avoidant person may secretly feel trapped by it. They rarely admit this openly because they fear sounding cold or emotionally damaged. So instead of explaining their fear, they create distance and hope the other person simply accepts it. The second thing avoidants never tell the people they love is this: I think about you far more than you realize after I pull away. One of the biggest misconceptions about avoidance is that they simply stop caring once they become distant. But many avoidants continue thinking about the relationship constantly in private silence. The difference is that they process emotions internally instead of externally. While anxious people seek reassurance through communication, avoidants often disappear to regulate themselves emotionally. And during that distance, they may replay conversations, think about the relationship, and quietly miss the person they love. But pride, fear, and emotional discomfort stop them from expressing it directly. So the person on the other side only sees coldness and silence. They never see the internal conflict happening behind it. And because avoidants struggle to communicate emotional need openly, their silence gets mistaken for indifference. The third thing avoidants never tell the people they love is this: I don't know how to handle emotions without feeling overwhelmed. Avoidants often grew up learning that emotions were unsafe, inconvenient, or emotionally exhausting. Many learned very early in life that vulnerability led to rejection, criticism, or disappointment. So instead of learning how to process emotions in a healthy way, they learned how to suppress them. That suppression may work temporarily, but relationships eventually expose what has been buried for years. When conflict appears, avoidants can feel emotionally flooded much faster than they admit. Even simple emotional conversations may feel intense inside their nervous system. That is why they sometimes shut down, go quiet, or emotionally disappear during difficult moments. Not always because they don't care, but because they genuinely do not know how to stay emotionally present without feeling consumed by discomfort. And unfortunately, the people who love them often interpret that shutdown as rejection. The fourth thing avoidants never tell the people they love is this: I want love, but I'm terrified of losing myself inside it. This fear sits at the center of many avoidant relationships. Avoidants usually value independence because it makes them feel emotionally safe and in control. So when love becomes emotionally intense, they may fear losing their identity, freedom, or inner stability. The relationship starts feeling less like connection and more like emotional pressure. Even healthy love can trigger panic when someone associates closeness with losing control over themselves. So they begin creating emotional space to feel safe again. But what they rarely explain is that the distance is often about self-protection, not lack of feelings. They may genuinely love someone deeply while simultaneously fearing the emotional responsibility that love brings. And that inner contradiction creates confusion not only for their partner, but also for themselves. The painful reality about avoidance is that many of them struggle silently. They often feel emotions deeply but express them very poorly. And because they fear vulnerability so much, they unintentionally hurt the people closest to them. The people who love avoidance usually spend a long time trying to decode silence, mixed signals, and emotional withdrawal. They keep searching for reassurance while the avoidant partner keeps retreating into emotional distance. But understanding avoidance is important, not to excuse unhealthy behavior, but to see the deeper fear beneath the surface. Because many avoidants are not running from love itself. They are running from the emotional exposure that love requires. And until they learn how to feel safe with vulnerability, intimacy will continue feeling like both desire and danger at the same time.